Today, I want to share with you a personal story that truly changed my life forever. I am certain it will add a great deal of value to your professional life and ultimately help you make a lot more money. I'm talking about the famous Canton Fair, which is located in China. Just a few years ago, my business was a single accounting firm based in the city of São Paulo. And as many of you already know, my profession is that of an accountant, and I'm the one who pioneered and created the concept of online accounting throughout Brazil. My fellow accountants affectionately call me the father of online accounting in Brazil. At that time, I had many clients who sold products that were manufactured in China, and they bought from middlemen, they bought from intermediaries. So what was happening with my clients? They couldn't have a generous profit margin, they couldn't achieve a satisfactory profit margin. And then I realized that there wasn't just one middleman, not just one, two, or three. In some cases, there were 10 intermediaries. And then I became curious to know how much the first one paid so that all those people could make a profit, including my client. How much did the first one pay? So I decided to go to China, and I went to China for the first time back then to visit the Canton Fair, the largest business fair in the world, created almost 80 years ago during Xiaoping's government to promote and sell Chinese products worldwide. So at this fair, they bring together 50,000 factories in one place so that the whole world can see what's being launched, who manufactures what. So at that time, I went to visit these factories. I went to get to know China, and I fell in love with China. In fact, here in my office in Dubai, I display the Chinese flag right next to the Brazilian flag because it's a country I hold close to my heart, and I have many Chinese friends. Today, I have residency in China, I have a factory in China, so our relationship with China has become closer every day. And what was originally just to serve my clients in Brazil ended up growing to a size I never expected it would reach. Today, we serve 22 Arab countries, and I manage all my companies from our office here in Dubai. This is where I'm recording this video and having this conversation with you. Very well, what used to be just my own trip to China, I started taking my clients to do business with the Chinese, to skip all the middlemen and buy directly from the factory. That's how a business club was born. That's how business tourism to the Canton Fair started. In this business tourism, many of our clients leave São Paulo, heading to Dubai, spend a day here in Dubai, and then from here we go together to China. In our business tourism package, what's included? Round-trip airfare is included in this package. Most of our clients leave from São Paulo, but I have clients who depart from the United States, many from Europe, and now many are leaving directly from the Arab world to there. But usually our clients, the majority of them, still come from Brazil. So included in our business tourism package are round-trip airfare, 7 nights hotel accommodation in China, airport transfer from Dubai to the hotel, and transfer from the hotel back to Dubai airport to continue the second part of the trip, which is arriving in China. The transfer from the airport in China to the hotel in China is also included. Credentials to enter the fair are also included. Daily transfers from the hotel to the Canton Fair event are also included. And for every group of 5 people, we provide an interpreter for that group. So, my friends, this is an incredible opportunity for you to bypass all the middlemen, connect directly with the factories, and significantly increase your profit margin. And of course, we're only human. Usually I arrive in China 2 days before the fair starts because it's a very long trip. Anyone going to China is traveling to the other side of the world just to leave the Americas and get there. From Dubai, we're already talking about a 14-hour flight, and then from Dubai to China, it's another 6 hours by plane. So it's a long journey, and for some people, it can be a bit tiring. That's why we usually arrive in China 2 days early, so people have time to rest, to visit the tourist attractions in the city of Guangzhou, which is an extraordinary city, wonderful, safe, beautiful, and a pleasure to explore. To stroll around. A city completely lit up with LEDs, an incredible city, an indescribable city. Only those who have been to Guangzhou know what I'm talking about. So folks, No matter how many images I show you here of the city, the cleanliness, the beauty, the politeness of the people, the courtesy with which everyone welcomes us, the wonderful restaurants that exist in China, Brazilian steakhouses, Italian restaurants, in short, international cuisine. In other words, a city that meets all our needs, an incredible city. So we usually arrive 2 days before the fair starts because I like to take people to see the city's tourist attractions and also give everyone time to rest. Well, as part of our business tourism, I always set aside a day for us to take the bullet train to Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a city about 45 minutes away from Guangzhou by bullet train, located in southern China, and it's a city I consider the Disneyland of electronics. There, you can buy everything infinitely cheaper than you would anywhere else in the world. For example, if you buy a computer like the one I have here, a computer like this one here in Brazil, with the configuration this MacBook Pro has, today in Brazil, you would pay around 28,000 Ries for it. While in China, you can buy the same computer with the same configuration for 6,000 Ries. The difference is huge, the difference is staggering, and that's true for computers, for iPhones, for all kinds of electronics. So going to China and not visiting the city of Shenzhen is a huge waste because it's a city that's close by, and I usually set aside 1 day of the trip for us to go there and visit this Disneyland of electronic devices. Well, that's usually what happens when we go to Shenzhen, but if everyone agrees, then we can do another extension, which is to visit and spend 2 nights there, but only if the group agrees, of course. Not every group does this. Usually it's a more select group of people who want to do what I'm about to mention, which is to visit the city of Shanghai. For me, Shanghai is the top of the world. Shanghai is one of my favorite places in the world. I usually say at home, if I didn't live here in Dubai, I would like to live in Shanghai, which in my opinion is the most developed city on planet Earth. You will get to know many cities around the world. You can travel wherever you want, but you will never find a city more developed, more modern and safer than Shanghai. There isn't one. So when there's a group that is interested in getting to know this city, of course, for that, there's an extra fee. So you can make this trip within China because you have to take a plane from Guangzhou to Shanghai. It's the same distance as from São Paulo to Ceará. It's far for those who are in Brazil. It's about the same distance as from New York to California. It's a long distance. It's not a short trip. It's about 4.5 hours by plane. So even though it's within China, it's far, but I think it's worth it because besides Shanghai being a global financial center, all the companies that produce technology have offices in that city. So when you go to Shanghai, you have the opportunity to do business with major companies. And all the provinces around the city of Shanghai work with products in the technology sector. Let me give you an example. When you buy in Shenzhen, which is the electronics paradise, an LED lamp there in the city of Shenzhen, you have the LED lamp assemblers. But in Shanghai, you find the manufacturers of the components for that lamp, meaning you can buy LED lamps even cheaper. In other words, in Shenzhen, you're already dealing with the first middleman when it comes to LED lamps. For those who buy photovoltaic panels, I could give several examples, but I'm mentioning this one. For those who buy or work with solar energy, photovoltaic panels, if you buy this type of material anywhere in China, you're already dealing with the first middleman. But in Shanghai, you buy directly from those factories that produce the components which will be assembled into photovoltaic panels at other factories. So going to Shanghai is a huge competitive advantage. So when the group agrees, we extend our trip and go there as well, which is a place I like to visit with my family because that's where Shanghai Disney is. So for those who are going to spend more than 7 nights in China, it's worth visiting Shanghai Disney because it's a park that even the Chinese themselves consider bigger than the Disney park in the United States. So it's really interesting to visit. And when I talk about business tourism, I'm not just talking about going to visit factories. I'm not just talking about a business person going to see factories. It's also a place you can go with your family. When we talk about the Canton Fair, about traveling to China, it's not a place where only the business owner, only the factory owner, or only the shop owner goes to visit. No. You can go with your wife, ma'am, you can go with your husband, you can take your children. It's an extraordinary trip, a wonderful journey, and it's not just for those who are going for business. The family should go too. For example, every time I go to China, I always go with my family. I take my wife, I take my children, and we mix leisure, the pleasure of living life, with work. So for us, we don't know where work ends and leisure begins, or where leisure ends and work begins. Our life is an extraordinary life. So it's a trip that's for everyone. It's a trip that's for everyone. Now, when you take a trip like this, there are several places within China that you can also visit. For example, the city of Yiwu. I have videos here on the channel just showing the city of Yiwu. The city of Yiwu in China is where they created a free zone where no one pays taxes. So all the factories throughout China have their offices in the city of Yiwu. They built a huge mall in the city of Yiwu. And incredibly, it's a mall where almost no one goes. You walk through those corridors and most of them are almost empty. And the stores inside this mall, in fact, aren't really there to sell products on the spot. They don't do retail, they only deal in wholesale sales. So there in the city of Yiwu, we can buy any product from all over China through this city where the factories' offices are located. So inside this mall in Yiwu, you'll find the offices of manufacturers from all over China. And it's a permanent trade fair. It's open all year round. Of course, going to China isn't exactly close by. So we take advantage of the fact that those who are already in China will also be able to visit the city of Yiwu. In our basic travel package, the basics include airfare, 1 night in Dubai, a 7-night stay in the city of Guangzhou with a trip, and 1 night in the city of Shenzhen, credentials to enter the fair, and an interpreter to help you with negotiations at the fair. And the transfer to take you to the hotel, to bring you to the fair, that's what's included in our package. Everything beyond that, those are additional costs. Visiting the city of Shanghai is an extra cost. Visiting the city of Yiwu is an extra cost. We have the basic packages and the extra packages. Now, for those of you out there who are genuinely interested in the prospect of visiting China and conducting business directly with the factories on the ground, I want to let you know that I will be putting the link to our website down in the description area of this video, making it easy for you to check it out. There, you will find a complete guide with all the steps so you can see a full breakdown of the prices and understand exactly how much everything is going to cost. I'll also include our WhatsApp contact. I'll put our Dubai WhatsApp number here because that's where we manage all our business from. Even though we have an office in China, an office in São Paulo on Avenida Paulista, and an office in New York, I have centralized all our customer service here in Dubai. So our entire company's central administration is based here in Dubai. And many people ask me, Leandro, can I just get on a plane and meet you directly in China? Yes, you absolutely can. There's no problem at all. But in doing so, you miss out. Let me explain why. Why do I arrange to meet everyone in Dubai? Because it's not enough for you to just buy things cheaply. You need to know who to sell to. And in the Arab world, they need everything. Arab countries are in a desert environment. Here, where I'm speaking to you from, near the Burj Khalifa, the area around is a beautiful city, but beyond that, it's desert. Arabs need to import everything. Even the drinking water here is imported. So going to China to visit the factories and getting to know who you're going to sell to, that's a huge advantage, which is why I arranged to meet people here in Dubai. But there's absolutely no problem if you want to go directly to China. Some people ask me, Leandro, I have airline miles. Can I use those miles and fly with whichever airline I want? There's absolutely no problem. You can do that too. Within our package, I like to fly with Emirates, which in my opinion is the best airline in the world. But really, there's no problem at all. If you have miles with Air France, if you have miles with American Airlines, if you have miles with another airline, you can use your miles, of course. And then that amount will be deducted from our business tourism package. Not just the amount, but our responsibilities as well. Because when someone buys the entire package with us, the responsibility to get you there safely and bring you back safely is ours. But once you choose to get there by another means, the responsibility is yours. A lot of people ask me, Leandro, how much money should I bring for a trip like this? Well, that really depends on your lifestyle. But let's say you're going to eat at 4-star restaurants. You might want to grab snacks at McDonald's, or you might want to live a modest life in China. It's wise to bring with you something between $5,000 and $10,000. That's a wise amount, okay? It's wise. For those who are going to spend 7 nights in China and live a modest life there, $5,000 to $10,000 is a reasonable amount for you to be able to travel. Leandro, can I just bring a credit card and not bring any cash? You can, but it's risky. Here's why. In China, they use the Alipay payment system and the UnionPay credit card network. If you want to take MasterCard, Visa, Diners, America Express, they may not be accepted in many places. So if you only rely on your credit card, it is extremely dangerous. People who traveled with me, if they hadn't been with me and had only a credit card, if they hadn't been with me, they would have gone hungry in China because their credit cards didn't work. So it's reckless. You can take part of your money on a credit card, but don't forget to bring some dollars as well. Because when the system goes down, when your credit is cut, when the bank has a hiccup, what really solves things is cash in hand. That's what solves it. A lot of people also ask me, Leandro, how does it work with hotels? Are the rooms shared? Will I have a private room just for myself? I usually book 1 room per person. Usually when a couple goes, of course, both stay in the same room. But when a couple goes with a child, they also stay in the same room. For people who aren't couples, each gets their own room. I like to arrange individual rooms. It's a bit more expensive for me. I prefer to make less profit but offer greater comfort to those traveling with me. So there's no such thing as a shared room. Leandro, do you also provide assistance outside the fare? If I want to visit a factory outside the group, do you offer that kind of assistance? We also provide that kind of assistance. But you have to keep the following in mind. There are factories that are in Guangzhou. It doesn't cost us anything to accompany you to a factory like that. It's actually a pleasure for us. Now, there are factories where you have to take a plane and go to another province. And in that case, there has to be a charge. The airfare has to be charged. The hotel stay has to be charged, the interpreter who will have to travel with you, so in that case you have to pay an extra fee. If you're interested in getting to know all of this, get in touch with us. We're here ready to answer all your questions, and it will be a pleasure for me to meet you in person and do great business with China. Thank you for watching, and until our next meeting, see you then.